Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am your girl, Molinda Jae, and I just want to ask y'all a simple question. How do y'all feel about Lunchables coming to a school near you? Want to know why? If you haven't heard about it already, let's go ahead and get into the article and see what it's talking about. All right, so this is coming from CNN.com in the business portion. I did do a video about this earlier, but I just never released it. So I'm just redoing this again just in case anything had updated since when it first was announced. But Lunchables are going to be rolled out directly to students, and here's what is in them. And it reads, Kraft Heinz has succeeded in getting its ready-to-eat packaging Lunchables into school lunch programs starting this fall in a major new initiative, but the company had to reformulate the ingredients to ensure the products meet the federal guidelines first. Why they couldn't do that in the first place, I do not know. This would mark the first time Lunchables are directly entering schools, the company told CNN Business Tuesday. Kraft Heinz said new products will be available nationwide to all school administrators to procure and offer students either for purchase in the lunchroom, though the company did not disclose the cost to schools, or for free through the National School Lunch Program, aka NSLP. In addition to the rollout Lunchables in schools, the company said it is also testing the addition of packaging Lunchable fruits for sale in stores later this year, with the potential to scale nationally in 2024. A Kraft Heinz executive speaking at the annual Consumer Analysis Group of New York conference in February 21 first announced that the company was preparing to deliver its packaged ready-to-eat Lunchable kids meals directly to students by putting them in school cafeterias. Carlos Abrams Rivera an executive vice president with Kraft Heinz, said two varieties of Lunchables separate from Lunchables sold in grocery stores with improved nutrition that comply with the NSLP requirements will be served in K-12 schools nationwide beginning this fall. While Abrams Rivera didn't provide further details, a company website appeared to show the new products. Kraft Heinz described on its website Kraft Heinz Away from Home, the Lunchable products that it said are built for schools and now meet NSLP guidelines. The NSLP, established in 1946, provides lunch daily to nearly 30 million students in public and nonprofit private schools and residential child care institutions. The information posted on Kraft Heinz Away from Home.com describes two products as new for 2023-24 school year and built for the lunchroom, but are also great for field trips, summer school, and dinner programs. One of the main selling points for schools is that the Lunchables for schools don't need to be frozen but kept refrigerated, minimizing school labor needs and costs. Oh wow, I got a lot to say about that. And the packaging for turkey and cheddar Lunchables options is described as 3.5-ounce container. The document said it contains 2-ounce equivalents MMA meat alternative, 1-ounce equivalent of grain and meats whole grain rich criteria of the NSLP. Kraft Heinz said Tuesday that it contains 6 grams of saturated fat and 930 milligrams of sodium. The extra cheesy pizza option comes in a 5.05-ounce container and contains 2 ounces equivalent of MMA meat alternative, 2-ounce equivalent of grain, 1/8 cup of red orange vegetable, and 7 grams of saturated fat 700 milligrams of sodium, and meets whole grain rich criteria of NSLP. Kraft Heinz said both options were made using a specialized recipe that incorporates more protein and whole grains to keep kids powered throughout the day, reduce saturated fat and sodium, and an increased serving size. And as you can see here, this is the school nutrition guidelines that are set to get stricter, okay? So 2 Lunchables now meet the NSLP guidelines. Of course, the turkey and cheddar cracker stacker and the extra cheesy pizza. And as you can see, the little stats here. And then let's see, 93% brand awareness for Lunchables. Refrigerate, not frozen. Okay, to minimize your labor needs and costs. I feel like this is like a shortcut in feeding our children, but okay, I'm gonna wait till I finish this article. All right. The idea to roll out the Lunchables in school comes amid new proposed changes to school food guidelines by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which oversees the federally assisted school meal program. The proposed changes aim to reduce added sugar, sodium levels in school-provided lunches. These standards could reduce sodium limits gradually over several school years, while school meat are paid for by local and federal funding. The standards for what goes on a kid's cafeteria tray are met by the USDA. The agency's job is to make sure any meal served at school is nutritious and falls in line with the U.S. dietary guidelines. Schools are mandated to offer students 5 meal components: fruit, vegetable, protein, grain, milk, and students must take at least 3, and 1 has to be fruit or vegetable as part of their lunch. Lauren O., assistant professor at UC Davis Department of Nutrition, who studies the effectiveness of school nutrition programs, said she will want to know the sodium, saturated fat, and added sugar content in the reformulated Lunchables to determine if they are beneficial addition to school lunches. Research shows that high intakes of sodium will over time increase the risk of developing high blood pressure and other diseases, says O. The concern is also that young kids who are exposed to high sodium in packaged foods early life could develop a preference for high sodium foods throughout their lives. The Lunchable turkey and cheddar cheese with crackers 3.2 ounce tray sold in Target, for example, contains 740 milligrams of sodium in 1 packet serving size, according to dietary guidelines for Americans. Adults should limit sodium intake to less than 2,300 milligrams per day. That's equal to about amount of a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of table salt. For children under age 14, the recommended limits are even lower. So probably like a half a teaspoon to none. I'm guessing. O said the cost of Lunchables for school interested in procuring the items is something that could come into play. From the cost standpoint, I would be concerned that these might be more expensive than meals currently available and offered in the NSLP, she said. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm talking about. But I'll get to it when I finish the article. Megan Maroney, Federal Child Nutrition Programs Campaign Manager at the Center for Science and Public Interest, CSPI, said Kraft Heinz has been promoting it for a while now to school and state organizations, she said. Maroney said she is also interested in learning about the complete nutritional makeup of the 2 Lunchable products to determine if they fully meet the current and proposed NSLP nutritional guidelines. Also, if the products are reformulated to meet those guidelines, they will taste different from Lunchables sold in stores because of lower sodium, saturated fat, and other requirements. Exactly. This can be confusing to kids, Maroney said, but offering Lunchables in school cafeterias might be welcome in some school districts that are struggling with higher food costs and labor shortages. Okay, let me write that down. Said Diane Pratt Havener, spokesperson for the School Nutrition Association, a trade group with 50,000 members representing school service providers. As school nutrition guidelines get increasingly complex, we've seen companies leaving the K-12 segment, said Pratt H. I'm just going to say it's hyphenated. It's good to see a company interested in selling to this segment, but I would see Lunchables as one of a couple of meal options, and not that schools are getting away from offering daily hot meal options. Yes, that is what I am talking about, because it seems like it's a cop out from the way it's presented to us, when it should be like an option. It should be more of an option and not a cop out because of the higher cost and labor shortages. Okay, I'm done with the article now. So let me stop sharing and give y'all my thoughts on this one. Okay. Y'all always think about the children, right? Children, it's all about the children. What about the children? Okay, each time when that saying goes around, it goes the complete opposite. Exhibit A, GUN control, okay? Also with teachers and their low wages. Again, they get certified the same way that professionals do, with doctors, lawyers, engineers, all that is good jazz. And they get paid the bare minimum. What's the point of getting certifications when you're going to get paid the bare minimum? And you're not going to get paid like other professionals in other fields get. Okay? That's number one. All right, number two within the article, because I got to go back and forth between there. First off, why did it take this company so long to be interested in reaching out to school systems and providing this option to them? I feel like this should have been done a long time ago. As long as Lunchables has been existing in this physical realm, this should have been offered a long time ago. I mean, it's good. It's a start. I can say that, but it's almost like you're too late. You approached this later in the game when you should have caught it ahead of time and made it presentable as an option. Okay. And then, yes, I do agree with the nutritionists and and other professionals that was quoted in this article about how since the formula is going to change to meet the standards for the schools, so the children can be able to consume this, right? Why can't that be applied as if we are buying the item in stores? Okay, if you're going to go ahead and just change the formula for the schools, say just go ahead and do it across the board. That way it won't be so much of a confusion of the salt intake and the nutritional intake and all that other aspects. Go ahead and make it across the board. Don't even just make it because we're trying to satisfy one portion of our target audience. We're going to just do it across the board for goodness sake. And then also it had talked about they're approaching schools and organizations with this offer to procure because of the high cost of food and labor. Okay, it goes right back to the federal minimum wage for individuals that are working, right? How about, can we increase that? And don't even mention the fact that, of people saying each time when there's a discussion that is happening about the federal minimum wage and how it needs to be raised, And then folks will counterpart saying, well, that's just going to be more cost to for the business and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's what it is for. The federal minimum wage has not changed since I was in high school. Okay, since I was a freshman in high school, it used to be $6.25 because that's when my mom's daycare was open at the time. Okay, and then when I got in high school, which was 2007, okay, that's when the federal minimum wage went up to $7.25, and it has not budged since then. So, and of course, the standard of living is not matching the federal minimum wage. Okay, even when companies are still offering above the wages above the minimum wage, is still not meeting the standard of living for everybody to live comfortably. So until we get that addressed of raising the federal minimum wage, so it can balance out at least the standard of living of costs going up and up and up, and this inflation and stuff, as to a certain degree, inflation, in my opinion, is just company greed. It's company greed. Who's going to become the next millionaire? Who's going to become the next billionaire? Who's going to become the next trillionaire? Because all these layoffs, all the condensing and stuff like that, it is causing people to lose their jobs. Okay, jobs that either they had for a long time or just now starting. So miss me when people say raise up the minimum wage, or when we are crying out to you all, raise the minimum wage, because it is not matching the standard of living. There are states, aka Mississippi, that is still going by the federal minimum wage with most jobs. So until y'all raise the federal minimum wage, maybe it can do something. Maybe we can do something. And then, as far as like labor costs and needs, how much money are the school districts spending on food? Because I have worked in a catering sector before in the hospitality realm. Okay, and this was dealing with football. Making sure the food and drinks are stocked. Well, really the drinks in particular, but making sure everything is up to par for the big dogs to come in to sit back, relax, and have fun. And then meanwhile, us workers, because before, when I started working with them, after the game is over with, or during the lunchtime or break time for a worker, they could go up to the catering bar where the head honchos were able to eat and drink and be merry and have fun. The workers were able to go up and eat from there and go on about their business, because by the time the game ends, all that food is gonna get thrown away. All that good food, barbecue, burgers, cupcakes, cookies, all that stuff is gonna get thrown away. And then when it came to a point when I started working with them, that's when they had brought it to our attention that we would have to stick to eating from sack lunches, basically a sandwich, chips, a pickle, and a cookie to eat, right? Meanwhile, you got all this food just hanging out, because for the most part, everybody's just sitting there watching the game and having fun. Yes, they're going to grab their food every now and then, but it's not like they're going up there constantly. They're going to get their food and they're going to sit down and they're going to drink and be merry. They're going to be more focused on drinking and smoking than eating, if anything else. Okay. And then by the time the game ends, the folks will come out and be like, hey, y'all want that? And we be like, we can't eat that. And they be like, girl, y'all go up in there and get that food, because they're going to throw it away anyway. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Restaurants do the same darn thing. Once the business closed and there is no food left over, I'm pretty sure there are some workers that will take food home just so they won't throw that away. But there are others that would just completely throw the food away when that could have been given to the homeless, or that could have been given to the workers so they can either give it to the homeless or people that are struggling to give to put food and drink on the table. So make it make sense for me. If y'all have leftovers from the lunch, I'm pretty sure there are schools that are very close knit, tight knit with their community. I'm pretty sure there are schools out there that will literally package the food that they have left over and give it to the kids on for them to take home so they can go and eat the food, because when they get home they at least they'll have something to eat, because that's what they go to school for, is not only learning, but that is one of their only source of nutrition. Because you have the parents out there busting their butt trying to make sure they basically have a food, basically they have the basic necessities over their head: food, water, and shelter. And sometimes they have to sacrifice bringing food to the table to keep the keep the lights on or keep the roof over their head. So again, make it make sense for me. So y'all talk about food costs, y'all talk about labor shortages, and y'all talk about the nutrition of it all. And again, like one of the nutritionists stated below, within the article, Ms. Diane, the spokesperson for the School Nutrition Association, when she said she hoped this is being presented as an option and not as a substitute for the daily hot meal option. It sounds like to me, from the way this is being presented, that due to the food costs and the labor shortages, with this Lunchable option, this is going to substitute for the ones who are in the cafeteria busting their butt trying to prepare the hot food and meal, instead of just providing the livable wage and what they actually need, so they can be able to come to work and not be tired so all the dang time. Because my mom used to be in the cafeteria too, okay, and be able to provide the daily hot meal option to the kids first. And if they want to opt out and get the Lunchable, then let them do it. But don't utilize this Lunchable offer as a replacement for a good hot meal in the end. That's all I'm saying, okay? This is a good idea, and at the same time, they said in the article that they was going to have more things to offer, and I hope they do, because I get tired of seeing the same old thing anyway when it comes to Lunchables, whether to choose the ham and cheddar, the turkey and cheddar, the pizza, and then if you want to feel a little bit more fancy, there's the sandwich option with a couple more items. Like, make that stuff versatile. Make it versatile somehow. I'm glad they about to add some fruit options, because with HEB, they have rolled out their own version of Lunchables, and I like their option better. They offer pretzels and peanut butter jelly and vegetable sticks and ranch on one, or you can get a chicken salad and a couple of other. They make theirs a variety. It's not the same old every bit of time, every single time. So HEB, they're doing their justice of making their own version of Lunchable, because they even have pretzels in their Lunchable options too. You have your little peanut butter jelly sandwich, some apples, and maybe a caramel dip on the side with some pretzels too. That's an option as well. But I know for sure that it seems like we are steering all the way left when it comes to feeding the children in the school system. because once upon a time we were able to go to the vending machine, get like a drink or a Gatorade and stuff like that, or have a break where they provided some nutritional snacks that was, really good. And they took that away from us whenever Obama got in office, because First Lady Michelle Obama had proposed nutritional the healthy way lifestyle, right? And also, what else was taken away? That's when the peanut allergy was starting to make its round. So a lot of schools was cutting back or completely cutting off of kids bringing items that had peanut butter in it. And then also the schools had cut back on seasoning the darn food, girl. You don't always have or seasoning or putting love in the food to where the kids can actually consume the food, because now the kids also opt out of traditional to the school lunches because they're not flavored enough for them. They opt out for fast food. Okay, I kid you not. I don't know how many times I done went up to the school and gave my brothers some fast food because how trash the lunch food is. and I, and it's either what day it was offered at the time, or the items were not seasoned enough. And I remember back in my days in school, pizza day would always be the day where people would literally be like, hey, don't touch my slice of pizza now, because the pizza was busted then. I don't know how it is now, but pizza day, you can't, everybody will be up in the line to get that pizza. All right. But it also mentioned the articles that other companies have backed away from tending to K through 12 schools. Is it Airmark? Because Airmark is one of the major big companies, food companies that would cater to the K through 12, to supply the food so it could be prepared for the hot meal. I wonder, are they referring to them as one of the companies backing away from procuring to K through 12? So I'm interested on that note. I need to see what they're up to, because I don't even hear about them anymore like that in the school system. They're more in the professional realm, like football, basketball, baseball, in those sectors, and possibly catering to the big companies as well when they getting bids and procurement through them. I don't hear too much of Airmark anymore, yet alone showing up to the schools to supplying the food and the materials for them to provide those daily hot meals. So yeah, leave your thoughts. I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think about Lunchables making their way to the school system? And do you prefer it being an option for an option, or just to completely substitute it all for the hot meal? I want to know and hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I feel like it's a start, but in below key, I think it's a little too late for them to do all this, because in a way I do see this as a cop out, to stray away from the daily hot meals due to the food costs and the labor shortages. But I already gave my little take on it. I want to know what your thoughts about this. Feel free to chime down below on this matter, because this is very eye-opening, especially if your kids are going to school. Okay, so don't be surprised if you see the Lunchable option showing up at your local school, whether you want to purchase this for your kids, or if it leans towards to the free nutrition program, the free nutrition program, where they will automatically supply those during the summer times, and the list goes forward. But other than that, I'm leave it up to y'all on this matter. And feel free to like the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.